the ifs. They work harder at being female than a lot of females do.
They should kick the shit out of them. That's what they should do. Then they'll remember tomorrow what happened the night before.
So you think that they are the ultimate phallic person because they have tits and penis?
To find a woman with a cock is very difficult.
Especially if he's a not so attractive young boy. He may be with a little bit of makeup and a little bit of plastic surgery and a little bit of pushing and pulling and the right clothes. He can be a fabulous supermodel. This goes far beyond this. This goes into like psychologically taking on a persona that's totally different than what their natal genitals say that they are.
Becoming a woman came late in the years because I was just gay, just flaming. But when I was gay, it was confusing to people because they didn't know if I was a man or a woman. So being that like shows like Wonder Woman and Charlie's Angels, just looking at them beautiful women, it just triggered something in my mind. So when I grew up more, I said, when I grow up, I want to be like her. Just beautiful, just, you know. And, you know, from friends and people that I know, you look and you learn. So I saw things and I saw guys with breasts and, you know, they looked, you know, like women until I found out that they were really men. So, you know, so then I dipped and dabbed into it, tried it out with a little makeup and stuff. And then just went all the way.
I realized it since I was young, like real short, and I was real young, and I started realizing just what was the sex between a boy and a girl and stuff. And then I have noticed and realized that I was a boy, and it was sad. It was a sad case. I was very depressed for many years of my life, until I became Vanessa, who I am now.
When you're little, that's when it all starts. You know, you put on your mother's makeup, and you wear the dresses, you play with your little sister's dolls. A lot of people go through that, you know, but some people don't want to get the sex change. I do, but it's a lot of money, you know? It's a lot of money involved. And you gotta support yourself, you know, you have to make a living.
This is not a life this is not something I enjoy, something I must do to further myself. And I'm happy to say I am, because my dreams are becoming true in New York, you know what I mean? I want to become a supermodel someday. And I'm going through the right track. I'm being guided well. To become an actor like the next Madonna and just conquer the world and be God.
Every day of my life I wake up and I'm like, oh, I wish I could be a woman, you know. I would love to be a woman. That's my feelings, you know, because a lot of people, they're like, oh, but you're a man, how could you have, you know, women's feelings, and how could you like another man? And I'm like, it's the same thing with you. You like a woman, right?
What I changed from my body is my breath. I changed my breath because I have breath now, right? From chest to breath. And oh look, I had a tattoo. My husband gave me that. And you always do your nails if you want your hands to look feminine. Because regardless whether a man's hand, you know, it just looks rough, you know? It could be big, it could be small, but it looks rough. You know, mine doesn't look rough because I have nails, so the nails they look soft. It's like everything else has, you know, like, see, like my breasts. They look soft, you know, they look like woman's breasts. Everything looks like woman's body. Depends on what you wear. If you wear like panties that are high cut, you know, it makes you look more soft.
They have a body image, and a body image that they, the perception of what a woman should look like, the perception of what a beautiful woman looks like. Society gives us a picture. You look on any magazine cover like Elle or Vogue, and you see these beautiful supermodels, and this is what these kids want to emulate, because this is what society tells them a woman or a female is supposed to look like. So all of a sudden she's transformed into the butterfly, you know, this ugly duckling who comes out to be the swan. They'll just make the decision that they're uncomfortable with their gender role, with their natal sex, and this uncomfortability leads them to want to have sex reassignment surgery. And in order to do that, they have to be first on hormones for at least 2 years, because this is the gender role that they're going to be in for the rest of their life.
Well, let's just say I was born a girl trapped in a man's body, like that, but as I grew up, it just changed. I mean, as far as breasts, you take hormones, that makes you softer. Any muscle you have turns into flab and skin like a woman. Your cheekbones might pounce out a little more. Your voice might get a little softer. And you act more feminine, because it's the hormones, it's female hormones that we're taking.
She's just starting out, and she, you know, she may not look too soft, but she has her look where she is going to gag folks in a matter of like 6 months, 7. The pills work on you. She'll soften up, and she'll look real beautiful. I'm still going through my process, you know what I mean? And I've been soft because I started young, very young.
My breast really grew, expanded, you know. It was something that my face was changing. It was getting a little bit more feminine. And I mean, I had to stop it because it was giving me depression, and it was a lot of pain, and it's a lot of money.
The risk for hepatitis and even worse, AIDS is great when you're sharing needles to take hormones, for example. And it's just as great as if you're using it for taking drugs. And sometimes people who are on these bootleg hormones show up HIV positive because they're sharing needles with a buddy. Other dangers are that people are not getting the hormones prescribed in the proper dosages, and they're taking them in dosages that are much too high for the human body to tolerate. They may be doing irreparable damage to their liver, possible damage to their kidneys. After a certain amount of time, the hormones will produce enough breast tissue, enough tissue that you'll be able to put a decent-sized implant or even an oversized implant, and then that'll stretch. It'll stretch out the skin.
But you see, I figured, oh, honey, I put breast implants, and I've done this and I've done that, honey, why not? You know, and I castrated.
Did you?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
I'm not going to show you.
Getting castrated is not a good idea, especially if they intend to go eventually for sex reassignment surgery. There are problems with that because they need to use the skin from the scrotum for the labia, you know, and therefore if they remove the testicles, the skin from the scrotum tends to atrophy, and then there's no tissue to use for labia, and they have to do extensive skin grafting to do vaginoplasty or labiaplasty to make the finished product look like the person wants it to look. There are over 5,000 sex reassignment surgeries performed in New York State in about a year.
And they put a little clip, and like that, you know, you can feel and everything. It's like a clip, you know, a woman.
The stimulation might need to be more deep vaginal than clitoral. Although I can have clitoral orgasm when I stimulate my clitoral area.
Getting castrated will make you softer, but if you look soft, why I wouldn't want to, unless I know I'm gonna get the actual sex change. But I don't want it. At one time I wanted it, but like you watch talk shows and you hear all this negativity, certain things that happen, like you can orgasm, you can't, you have to lube it, you don't have to, it has to be a certain size or not. It's too much negative. If I just hear one answer from everybody, then I would waste the money on getting it. But why should I spend like $20,000 to be a hole in a wall and not feel anything? So I just rather stay the same.
I'm not quite sure of the fact that a couple of my friends are femme queens, are transsexuals, and I don't know why. I look at them and I say, damn, are you sure this is what you want to do? You know what I mean? Because like, they were a better person when they were not transsexuals. And now that they're transsexuals, they've gone downhill. Like, this life has brought them down and stuff.
As long as you have a sex change, you know, you could get around in life. You know, you could find a job. You could, you don't have to, you know, go through all that, you know, tucking stuff, you know. You just put on your panties, a pair of shorts, and you just go, or your jeans or whatever. You don't have to worry about nobody insulting you, you know. You'll feel more confident about yourself. You'll be happier.
They find ways. When they want something done, they get it done. You know, and they get the money for it usually by the same methods, by prostitution or selling drugs or whatever they need to do to achieve their goal.
Sometimes, being what I am, you have to start from the bottom, meaning prostituting, working in bars, erotic bars, like just showing your breasts. I mean, if you could get by as a woman, and then it's up to you to take it from there.
I'm a prostitute, but I'm taking care of myself. We're all prostitutes. It's the fact. That's what mainly most of these transsexuals, not most, all, start off prostituting, you know, making money out here to support themselves. It's the truth. You know, you can joke off of it here and there and stuff like that, but it's the truth, and you go through a lot of danger, but it's just the facts of life being for the discrimination out in the world. No matter how lovely you can be, you know what I mean, how real, how beautiful you can be, you will always be discriminated for the simple fact that you're a man.
If you want to copy, if it's in the car, you have to be $60. But if in the hotel, that's $150. Yes, we can do everything you want.
Okay. I've been arrested 10 times. 10 times. It's horrible.
You would sit in a police vehicle a half a block to a block away. You would have a set of binoculars. All right. You would focus in on a particular area. While you're focusing on that particular area, you write down the time you started looking. As vehicles make the turn, depending on where it is, either the he, she, or transvestite waves them down, or they stop and have a brief conversation. That's one. It repeats again. That's two. It repeats the third time. That's three. After the third time, we will slowly drive up. One of us will exit out of the radio car, the other one will drive past, and we'll basically close in, put the individual under arrest, put the individual in the back of the police car, take it to another location, put it in a van as a holding area. Then we'll go back and repeat it, depending on how many girls we're going to take in that night. Last Sunday night that just passed, We locked up 6 females. The rest of the night, the whole area was clear, which basically lets them know that we're not playing around, and we'll be out again, and we'll lock them up again until they get the message and realize that 14th Street is not prostitution.
A lot of cops are dates, okay? A lot of cops come down here, they get fucked, they do everything. They know that just because they're cops don't mean that they can't be Johns, you know? That's just their job, you know? Their job doesn't have to do nothing with their sexuality.
I drive around here, but I don't go out.
Why did you drive around here?
'Cause I lock them up on occasion. But if you want to look down, you'll see the tools of the trade. And a little pistol down here.
So you did a pretty good cleanup job yesterday.
Well, anytime that they have the mayor races and governor races and people in town, they clean up everything.
Upper middle class men with nice cars, kind of men you would think could meet a nice girl in a bar, buy her a few drinks, and maybe get lucky, and not pick up some filthy person on the street that the likelihood of catching some fatal disease is certainly there.
I sucked that dick. But mostly is I jerk them off, you know, because I'm a smart bitch, you know. I don't like it. So I'm like, then I'll go. Come, baby, come. That's the whole thing, basically, you know. This guy asked me once that he'll jerk off, and he asked me to put a lighter in his dick to burn his hair. He told me to burn his hair while he's jerking off, and he says that he feels fire, you know? And that makes him come. That's it.
I'm only 16, and I'm a prostitute, and I'm working on the streets. And I've had, like, I mean, I've gone through so much. I've had guns put to my head. I've been thrown out of cars. I've been places I've never knew where I was before, you know, but, you know, you just have to take it at, you know, like one day at a time or something, I guess.
We don't bother no one. I don't feel that I bother anyone. And before anyone touches me down there or I sleep with anyone, I tell them because I don't want to die. You know? Look, you seen Paris is Burning, Venus? She got killed. I don't want to be that way, you know? That's my fear.
I have a girlfriend that jumped in a car with a date, not knowing what she was, and they went to a hotel. The lights were off. She had on a skirt, felt her up and everything, and turned on the lights, and when he fell between her legs, he decapitated her. Took her head right off.
A lot of people who I grew up with are not alive today. Have either died from alcoholism and drug addiction, overdoses, or died or killed by in the streets, violently sometime, or have died of AIDS.
This guy wanted me to suck his dick without a condom, and he put a knife, and I had to do it. That's the only one thing, you know. After I got checked out, thank God that nothing happened, you know. But you never know, but you run the risk. That's part of being here, you know.
I'm tired now. I'm tired of, like, having to have men touch me. You know, why you have to touch me?
Did he put you off sex?
Yeah, I don't really have a love life. I can't say I love you to anyone because I feel like I don't. Like, everybody get away from me. You know, that type of attitude? Like, why are you on top of me?
It seems like a glamorous, fabulous life that it can only lead down a road to destruction and death.
Out of both of us, she didn't make it. She's on crack now and everything. So some of them go bad on drugs. Some of them commit suicide. Some of them die. Depends. The way that I look, I think I'm supposed to be entitled, you know, to be a girl. You know, I don't think that it's better to be like this for certain things, you know, but it's better if you were a girl, you know, because you don't have to worry about, you know. Like this, you could get away with a lot of things, but being a girl, you could get away with murder, you know.
Because in reality, I'm a boy, right? But I look like a girl. And the more feminine you do everything, it's just the more of a feminine you become.
The worst thing that I ever faced is somebody say, oh, that's a guy, you know, around my neighborhood, but they always do that to put you down, you know, but they can't put me down because if I see a lot of girls from my block, they look horrible. So, you know, that's why they're so busy talking shit about me, you know, because they don't have what I have. They don't have the money that I have. They don't have the boyfriend that I have if it's a girl, and the boyfriend doesn't have a girlfriend that looks like me, so I guess they have problems.
When you're transsexual, when you choose to be a transsexual, you gotta, it's like the choice of being accepted or not being accepted. Because when you walk down the street, you're not gonna be accepted.
When I walk the street, society, what you're seeing is a woman, because I'm not walking around with a sign saying I'm really a man or psych, you know.
Yeah.
My gender identity now is a woman, so that's how you would have to, even if you know what I am or not, because you would never see me with a mustache or a high top ever. And I mean, if I was a man, I wouldn't have breasts. I can't be gay because a gay man isn't attracted to someone that looks like a woman. They're attracted to another man, so I can't be gay. I'm not a lesbian because I'm not attracted to women, you know.
Gender doesn't exist in genitals. Gender exists in your heart and your head, you know, and it doesn't exist below the waist. The child growing up with gender identity conflict and saying, I'm a little girl, you know, I'm not a little boy, and I want to be just like my mother. She's beautiful, and she does all these fun things and has all these wonderful boyfriends who buy her presents and give her things, and that possibly could be one of the reasons a lot of the African-American families has an absentee father and there's a strong mother figure who is the dominant one, and the child wants to grow up emulating her.
When she taught me what it was to sleep in a negligee, you know what I mean? She taught me what it is to sleep in a nightgown. She taught me what it is to wake up in the morning, you know what I mean? You know, using the bathroom, she taught me what it was. She let me know what it was. How do I feel? Do I feel comfortable walking into a girl's bathroom?
My father, he can't see me. If he sees me, he's gonna kill me. He's crazy. He's on crack and all that stuff. You know?
My father, oh, he died. He died when I was younger, yeah. He committed suicide.
So it's just you and your mom?
My brother, too. I have a brother, but he doesn't really see me, like, you know, so... It's really just me. I'm really the only family I have.
If this could come between the love and a mother's and a son's love, anything could then. I don't think she loves me that much. So it's better me being by myself.
You know, but I know that's one thing I would never have. That's a kid. I'll never have a child. I could, no. And that's sad. I could never have a child. Well, I'm not the only woman that can never have a child. Let's put it that way.
I have my first. That's the only thing that keeps me going. Because I love him so much.
I had it and I let it go. You know, a lot of kids need that. You know, boyfriend, a steady boyfriend. It doesn't, see, just because you're not a real girl doesn't mean that you can't have a steady boyfriend. Or you can't love someone. you know? But who's gonna love you if they know that you're a prostitute on 14th Street, 9th Avenue? Who?
A transsexual's life is the only thing by my part is that you never really find someone, because there is just no such thing as being happy as a heterosexual. There's no such thing. But the love of a man that you would look for seriously, no one will really have that, because it'll always boil down to that you're really actually a man.